So how does one of the biggest banks in the world, a bank that manages trillions of dollars, pull off one of the largest AI transformations on the entire planet? Well, today, we're going to open up the playbook of JPMorgan Chase's CEO, Jamie Dimon, and really figure out how he's governing artificial intelligence at a truly massive scale.
Okay, let's start right here, because this is the key to understanding everything else. You see, for Dimon, AI isn't just some IT upgrade or a fancy new tool. He sees it as a fundamental business revolution, just like the steam engine was. And that thinking, it elevates AI from just another project to the absolute core principle that's reshaping the entire architecture of finance.
So here's our roadmap for breaking down this playbook. We're going to start with that big, powerful steam engine vision. Then we'll follow the money, see how they're funding it, uncover the daily discipline that actually makes it work, and then we'll analyze their tactics for scaling safely. Finally, we'll wrap it all up with an actionable blueprint you can actually use.
All right, first things first, the vision. A successful AI transformation, it doesn't just bubble up from the bottom. Nope, it has to begin with a powerful, top-down strategic command that drives every single decision that follows.
Now check this out, because this is where that vision translates directly into strategy. While their competitors are basically playing defense, just trying to keep up, Dimon is playing offense. JPMorgan's AI investments are a full 20% larger, and they're aimed at building their own unique proprietary stuff. And the forecast? Well, it suggests a potential 10 to 15% market share loss for those lagging behind by 2030, all because JPMorgan is just pulling away from the pack.
Of course, a vision is one thing, but how do you actually pay for an industrial-scale revolution? That brings us to the capital strategy, and this is where JPMorgan's ambition meets some really strict accountability. The numbers here really do speak for themselves. I mean, the firm's tech budget is absolutely skyrocketing towards nearly $20 billion a year. And a staggering 60% of that, we're talking over $10 billion, is earmarked for AI initiatives. This isn't just spending. It's a clear, calculated bet that AI will be the bank's defining competitive advantage. And this right here, this shows the return on that massive bet. These investments aren't just pie-in-the-sky ideas. No, they are delivering $1.5 billion in annual productivity gains. And that's coming from over 450 active AI use cases, everything from optimizing complex trading routes to automating fraud detection. This is real, tangible, bottom-line impact, and it's happening right now. But it's not just about spending big. The truly crucial point here is the balance in their strategy. On one hand, you've got these bold, offensive investments, like $1.2 billion for their own large language model suite. But on the other hand, shaped by the hard lessons of 2008, there's a huge defensive buffer, $1 billion set aside for cybersecurity to guard against new AI threats like voice cloning fraud. It's all about sprinting forward, while making absolutely sure the fortress is secure.
But listen, a strategy is nothing without execution, right? And this brings us to the operational heart of the playbook, the daily governance engine that ensures the vision actually becomes a reality.
It all starts with the CEO's calendar. Dimon allocates a full fifth of his time. That's basically 1 day a week directly to AI oversight. Now just think about the signal that sends. When the CEO dedicates that much personal bandwidth to one initiative, the entire organization knows it's the top priority. Period.
And that time is spent deep in the trenches. He's reviewing real-time performance dashboards every single day. And these aren't your typical static reports. We're talking about dashboards powered by a cloud infrastructure that is crunching 50 petabytes of data daily. This allows them to resolve any anomalies within 48 hours. They can spot and fix problems at a speed their competitors just can't dream of matching.
And he's not doing it alone. Backing him up is the AI Governance Council. This is not just some tech committee, it's a cross-functional powerhouse. You've got data scientists making sure the tech works, compliance officers making sure it's legal, and business leaders demanding that it's profitable. This structure makes sure every single AI project passes 3 critical tests. Is it technically sound? Is it compliant? And is it strategically relevant?
So, you've got the vision, you've got the capital, and you've got the daily governance. But how do you actually roll out these incredibly powerful systems across a global institution without causing total chaos?
First, you have to understand a massive risk called model drift. In simple terms, this is when an AI's performance starts to get worse because the real world has changed since the AI was trained. And in the fast-moving world of finance, that is an absolute recipe for disaster.
So to fight risks like model drift, JPMorgan uses a phased rollout.
And this is a direct lesson from 2008. Uncontrolled, complex systems can fail, and they can fail spectacularly. So first, a system is piloted in a controlled sandbox. Second, any issues are identified and fixed before they can cause any real damage. And only after it's been fully pressure tested is it finally scaled across the entire firm with confidence. And this disciplined, careful approach, it delivers a clear, quantifiable payoff. By using these phased rollouts for major AI systems, the firm reduces its operational risk by a full 15%. And that just proves that scaling safely is also scaling smarter.
So let's bring it all together. We can actually distill this entire deep dive into an actionable blueprint for any executive out there who's tasked with leading an AI transformation.
Okay, here it is, the 4 crucial points from the Diamond Playbook. First, you've got to establish a transformative vision. Think steam engine, not just software. Second, balance your capital bets. You have to pair that offensive innovation with defensive stability. Third, implement daily discipline with CEO-level oversight and a cross-functional council. And finally, scale with phased rollouts to stamp out risk.
And that brings us to the final thought. As you look at this entire playbook, from the grand vision all the way down to that daily discipline engine, what is the single biggest lesson you can take from this and actually apply to your own organization tomorrow?